Green morning, green afternoon, and green evening, world over. All our brothers and sisters across the globe, wherever you are, we wish you a wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon, and wonderful evening. What a pleasure. Monday morning, afternoon, evening. Once again, we are with the global community, global fraternity, whole family. Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. All of us, we are together world over. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday, once again, 28th of March 2022. We don't want to remember 25th March 2020. Do you remember 2 years have passed? What a difficult times the world has passed through. We have come 3 days ahead of 2 years. Wow, that's great. May God bless the entire universe. And once again, everything should get back to the normals. Today we are privileged. My story, Meri Kahani, empowering educators and youth, our children, our teachers, our educators, our counselors. Everybody needs a push and positivity and positivity and positivity. Although the lockdown has gone, but mental wellness, physical wellness, environmental wellness, economic wellness, couple of other things which we have to see, anxiety, stress, depression, a lot of things are going across the world. That's why we meet the green every Monday at 8 p.m. And today we are privileged to have Major General N.P. Singh, Vishisht Seva Medal from 7th Cavalry, that is from the Armed Forces Armored Regiment. Now let me share a couple of slides with all of you with the world over, and thereafter we would be inviting you. Ladies and gentlemen, ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry, which is a link between non-resident Indian, corporate, and the government interface. We are in touch with almost 31.46 million Indians overseas in 131 countries. Since 1994, we are together, and every year our chamber organizes on 13th of January, that is on the Lohri festival, we have our annual convention when most of the NRIs, they are in India. This particular series, I had a detailed deliberations with Lieutenant General KJ Singh, sir. We discussed together and he got convinced. He says, Gulshan, this is a wonderful idea what you have got. Let's plan it out and together, let's start it. And I still recall 14th February, people celebrate, deliberate, congratulate, and whatever is there on different arenas, 14th February. Young boys and girls, you know 14th February. So we started a new journey, human library, where we talk your story, my story, our story, what is happening world over, lifetime experiences. We start with Lieutenant General KJ Singh. From there, we moved on to Lieutenant General Iqbal Singh Singha. He has got two sons, both of them doing extremely well. Both are from the media entertainment industry. And recently, we all enjoyed the reception of Lieutenant General KJ Singh's son's, son who got married. God bless the new couple. Now, then we had gone to Lieutenant General Gurdarshan Singh Shergill, sir. He was at his farmhouse and he talked about his story. Two beautiful girls, daughters he has got. One of them is from travel and tourism. I would love to have her with us one of these days in the program, because I spent 4 decades with the travel and tourism and I'm very keen. He also gave a wonderful story, laughters and everybody enjoyed. Then we had moved to the couple, our story, Hamari Kahani, empowering educators and youth. We got General Ved Prakash Malik, PVSM, AVSM, former Chief of Army Staff, India, and his wife, Mrs. Ranjana Malik, former President AWA, that stands for Army Wives Welfare Association. And she's also the former Army Medical Officer. It was a wonderful story. We discussed with them, we heard them, and there were lots of valuable inputs, how husband and wife together, they build the nation and they move together. Thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, when I learned from my educators, although schools have got reopened, colleges have got reopened, but students have got challenges, parents have got apprehensions, and they told me, can you bring some humor? Can you bring some happiness? Can you bring some music? And we requested Media Entertainment Skill Council. Along with them, we got Colonel PNSS Subramaniam all the way from Hyderabad, who is running at present Sangeet Academy and a music academy. And he talked about music therapy and he talked about mental wellness. We had about 20 beautiful melodies that evening and he changed the environment. And then I went to another mentor of mine, Lieutenant General K.M. Seth, sir, the former Adjutant General of the Indian Army and former Governor Tripura, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. Good story, long story, wonderful story, so much to learn and pick from him because I spent considerable time because during my deputation from the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, he had called me one day and he told me, Gulshan, तुम यार फौज के लिए भी तो कुछ करो, तुम टूरिज्म के लिए हमने तुमको वहां भेजा है तो आर्मी के लिए भी कुछ करो. और मैंने कहा सर 4 कमरे मुझे दे दीजिए आप ASC सेंटर बेंगलुरु में. Let us set up our own hotel management institute. And today we are proud to share, ladies and gentlemen, Army has got its own hotel management institute and General States are being dynamic. He also set up the law college, engineering college, couple of other things which had come. And of course, I still recall in Noida, there was an army school which had come up over there and couple of other. Before he was laying down his arms, I went with him to a couple of divisions and we addressed the troops where we told them, what are the new career opportunities? Now, human library. What is human library? Think about that dry library, earlier library, where you go to the library, nobody will talk, nobody will make any noise, keep quiet, just pull your book, take out your book, sit down over there, open the book, start going through the pages. And when you see those pages, you get into meditation and you start feeling sleepy. So there was a new concept of human library started from the Scandinavian countries, from the Copenhagen, Denmark. And they told, why not to request the human beings? Those are living library. They are living stories. They are legends who can talk about their lifetime, what all they have contributed to the humanity. And from there they started and it has become a grand hit world over. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in the Indian budget, that is on 1st February, Nirmala Sitharamanji, the Honorable Finance Minister of India, she talked about mental health. She talked about 23 tele-centers. She talked about Nimhans. She talked about the IIIT of Bangalore, how they are working out the strategy. The technology, it has given a new shape to human interaction. Imagine you are sitting in 131 countries where from you are the part of this evening and all of us we are going. Your story, my story, our story, together we take it. Our chamber, way back in 1994, when I left Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, we started with Punjabi Parvasi Divas. And that is the time we slowly and gradually moved on and we set up India's first finishing school network for the service industry. And we are basically young boys and girls and teachers, educators, counselors, technocrats, everybody together. During this particular pandemic in the 2 years, it has gone totally digital. And now we call it an inspirational lab. And we touch the whole world and we have got almost all skills. Here is creativity, which is more important than literacy. This is, I'm showing you the Home Science College of the Chandigarh, very dynamic college, and the principal is also very, very dynamic. And I'm just talking about the inspirational lab. So in inspirational lab, everything has to be musical and happiness. Why not education should be part of our day-to-day life? And ladies and gentlemen, education and skills, when both are being taken together, there has to be an outcome. Either you become startup, or you become self-employed, or you get an employment, or you start some work. There has to be a purpose of education and skills. And you have a right to be happy. Everybody has a right to be happy. There is Dr. V. Ramachandranji. I heard him from the United States the other day when he was interacting with Rajiv Malhotra ji, who has come out with a book, Artificial Intelligence and Future Power. When you go through that, he says, why humor is not a part of education? So, with the Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council, radio, television, theater, films, augmented reality, virtual reality, gamification, creativity, artificial intelligence, cyber security, everything we are trying to bring together with the happiness. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m., we will be talking with you, preparing global educators. Let me start today's evening. This is our web portal of the ICSI. If you open the home page, you will get this particular picture. That means making education relevant. How to prepare global educators from India. Till date, during this pandemic, we have completed 1,515 webinars. More than 12,000 speakers have come. I'm grateful to all of them. They are so wonderful. Napoleon Hill, long time back, told, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together, all of us together. And this evening, let's extend a very warm welcome to Major General N.P. Singh, Vishisht Seva Medal. Last appointment in the Indian Army, Commandant Service Selection Center, North Kapurthala and Rupnagar, that is in the beautiful state of Punjab. Journal is a seasoned professional with 37 years of diverse and dedicated experience in several sensitive and coveted appointments requiring adept handling of human behavior. This includes his 2 separate tenures in the Service Selection Center at Allahabad and Kapurthala as president, that is 11 Service Selection Board and 31 SSB, and Founder-Commandant respectively. Currently, he runs an institute that is Shaurya Yodhas, and which provides the ultimate mentorship and SSB guidance to the aspirant young boys and girls. Those are keen to join the armed forces in India or the central armed forces of our country, of the police. Ladies and gentlemen, Major N.P. Singh, his prowess at the SSB, ex-NDA officer, a superlative career profile, founder commandant of the Selection Center North Kapurthala, 2 SSBs we have already discussed. Besides that, we have also discussed Allahabad and Kapurthala, and more than 20,000 plus interviews, and with an exceptionally higher selection rate unmatched by any educator in our country. 37 years of selfless service to the nation. What a wonderful contribution of his. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Human Library. Join me in extending a very warm welcome from the Indian Army, Major General N.P. Singh, Vishisht Seva Medal, and let's talk to him. Let's hear from him. Let's get an idea. Hearty welcome, sir. Pleasure to have you with us. It's indeed a great, great pleasure. You can unmute your mic, sir. You can unmute your mic. Yes, it's a pleasure. Hearty welcome. Soldier welcomes you. And it's indeed a great, great pleasure to have you. I can see wonderful medals and all, everything being put over there. When I see the 7 cavalry officer, right. When we say prowess, that means Vishishta, Utkrishta, something very powerful being done for the country. Let's start from your childhood, sir. We would like to go back to your childhood, your schooling, your college, your armed forces, and then we will move up in the career, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gulshan. It's a pleasure, and I'm deeply honored by you and by Lieutenant General K.J. Singh to have given me this honor and this platform to tell to you my life story. My life story has been a very ordinary one. It's been a story of passion, hard work, sincerity. I must thank, to start with, since you said from my childhood, I must thank my parents, my great parents, my father and my mother. My mother to give me the guidance and the values, and my father to put me on the right track every time I lost my way. You'll be very surprised. I am one of the few kids who was born in the NDA, military hospital. Okay. My My dad was there as a young captain, and there I was born in the military hospital in the National Defense Academy, only to join it 16 years later, just 16 years later. In this period of the 16 years, it was the superlative love of my parents, and I being the youngest of the 4 siblings, of course pampered to a certain extent, but yet never given more than my due. So the value system started from there, and fortunate I was that being an army officer's child, I moved with him from place A to place B, and it shuttled between mostly Delhi and Pune. I started my schooling in Mount St. Mary's, Delhi, and many great friends of mine would be listening to me. So it was there, and after that, from class 3 onwards, I moved to Pune for a short while up to class 6 in Bishops. And from Bishops came back to Mount St. Mary's and passed out school from there. So during this period of school, directly or indirectly, my parents really gave me those qualities which were probably required in the right form to become an officer. It was probably just coming to me naturally by way of my guidance at home, my school friends and others. So there I was after class 11. 3 of us cycled down to Dholpur House, filled up our UPSC forms, and appeared for NDA. One of them was Lieutenant General D.R.N. Soni, who rose to be an army commander. Another was Colonel Deepak Malhotra. The third one was Colonel Daljit Singh Jhun from the Skinner's Horse. And fourth was me. I was no great shakes in school, just a mediocre sort of a guy, full of pranks, full of happiness, and continued that way. So the first time I wanted to go in for NDA, my dad took me away to the village in Amritsar to say, son, you have better avenues. Try to do something better, you know. So like every good father who does that, he took me away there and he made me miss my NDA exam. Well, that was one big jolt because all my friends had taken off for the NDA and I was left behind. So I joined St. Stephen's College and I spent a year there. But as destiny has it, back I was into NDA in my first attempt. Now, what happened was that when I went to NDA, I had gone back to my birthplace. First attempt, 15 years of age, I cleared my SSB. As you all know, it takes 1 year cycle to reach the academy. I joined the academy. All these years, I must tell the viewers, I don't know how when I look back, it was some quality of sincerity, of gallant perseverance, which just took me through. It just took me through like a bolt in the blue, like knife and butter. And honestly, I didn't do too well in the NDA. There were far more brilliant guys than me in academics. There were far more better sportsmen than me in mediocrity, which was coming about. Soon, after 3 years, I went into IMA. That is the time some amount of self-pride started coming into me that I need to do better. And from the sincerity of purpose, passionate focus, and relentless and gallant perseverance, came out one great determining force in me, and that was to challenge the obvious. It was actually to challenge the obvious and rise above mediocrity. With the support of my mentors, I and my seniors and everyone managed to pass out in the super block from IMA, and with my own steam, got 7th Light Cavalry as my first choice of service. And therefore, I was in the regiment, such a beautiful regiment, I can't say. And here I was in June of 1980, 6 months later, to find Dr. Gulshan Sharma over there in the regiment. So Dr. Gulshan Sharma was in the regiment and he'd come on cross attachment. He's from the ordnance and he was doing cross attachment with the regiment. So we were 3 of us, one person senior to me, Rajiv Sharma. The middleman was me, and one below me was Arvind Thakur. So that's where my journey started in the regiment. And my journey of challenging the obvious and rising above mediocrity started. We used to go on a course. I had learned probably through the values which my parents gave me to work hard, worked very, very hard, very, very hard, with no real ambition, but just with a point to rise above mediocrity. And as life unfolded, 11 courses, 11 alpha X-rays, just by sheer hard work. Nothing else. I'm not boasting, but what I'm trying to say is, if you have that passionate focus, you can achieve anything and everything in this world. I'm a very, very mediocre person in terms of talent, but I think hard work overtakes talent many a times. So that was my journey to start with as a young officer. Not too good in games, but we had the best of officers in our regiment, like later General Mali, General Chatanda, General A.K. Singh, and to name so many of them. And here I was stuck, devil in the deep sea, not knowing what to do. So it was only hard work and hard work to prove myself.
Till this journey, we have got a lot of
the journey went on like that, and I cleared.
Yes.
And went ahead. The credit or discredit, I can say, goes to me only, because that's a story of passion which you have to follow to clear that examination. It's nothing new which I'm saying. And thereafter, guys, my friends, everyone listening to me, I have done nothing extraordinary except staying focused and giving whatever job is given its best.
Wow, staying focused. Sir, you have given a lot of qualities by this time: passion, hard work, sincerity, thanks to parents. And then you told work hard, rise above mediocrity, and then passion. And sometimes the hard work, it takes over the talent, and staying focused. A lot of good things you have given to the youngsters and everybody. Let's move on, sir.
It just came ordinarily to me. Now I'll tell you about my middle life service, and I'll just give you a few handmarks to cut it short, because I want to get on to actually inspiring the people who listen to me, so that they can motivate their children, and the children themselves who are listening to me get motivated to join the armed forces, which is the order of the day today in our country. In my middle rank service, I was a lieutenant colonel posted from a BM tenure straight into an AQ tenure. From a BM of an infantry brigade, I as an armored corps officer going into an infantry brigade as a BM, थोड़ा सा हजम नहीं होता लोगों को. So what happened was, it also meant, once again, rising above mediocrity, challenging the obvious, doing your best. And there as a BM, also I did the same. But to add to the horror, straight from there, I was posted as an AQMG in 5 Mountain Division in Tenga. From Pathankot and Doda, moved straight over there. From the frying pan into the fire. It was a cultural shock for me. And when I went to Tenga, thanks to that boss of mine, I won't like to name him. He was a general officer. Very, very, I think my body language would say it all. So I used to wear silver stars and brown belt. So वो थोड़ा सा उनको ना अच्छा नहीं लगता था. So that was the first thing. You bloody armored corps officer, you wearing silver stars and brown belt. So I was horrified के इसमें मेरी क्या गलती है, वर्दी है भाई. So I felt like telling the general officer, I was a small lieutenant colonel in those days. So I just kept quiet, but he used to stay very unhappy with me, basically because of my uniform, not because of my work. So my Colonel Adam, who was on top of me, called me one day. He says, NP, you work very hard, but somehow you're not showing the desired results. And here, guys, I'm coming to a rule which I adopted, which is my mantra to each one, and that is the 110% rule. 110% rule. This is what he told me. I'll take 2 minutes to tell you this, because this was a turning point of my life. He says, NP, sit down. So NP sat down in front of him. He says, you're working very hard, no results. I don't know what the problem is. So I was very disappointed. I said, मैं तो पूरी मेहनत कर रहा हूँ, but this fellow sitting in front of me is not happy. So what can I do? I have a senior officer above him who also doesn't like my uniform. And this guy is not happy with my work. So it's doomsday for me. So he says, I'll tell you. He says, whenever your boss gives you work to do, and guys, you can apply it in any walk of life. It doesn't have to be in the army. It can work in the civil also, in the corporate also, and it works. He says, whenever your superior or your one level up in the hierarchy gives you a job to do, first thing is look into his eyes and understand the task he's giving you. And if you don't understand the task he's giving you, ask him once, twice, thrice. Get very clear, because there'll be certain things he'll be telling you verbally, and some things he'll be telling you without telling you. Okay. So I didn't understand that, but I asked him, so what is those things which, so he says, आंखों से पता चल जाता है, अगर आंखों में आंखें डाल के देखो कि वो बंदा चाहता क्या है, जो काम आपको दे रहा है उसका फंडा क्या है. So I said, okay. So he says, get that clear first. First, get the concept clear. What is the task you have to do? Once you understood that, get back to doing that job. Now you will do it to your 100% because you're a hardworking guy. Even if you're not, you will do it to your 100%, whatever be your capabilities. Now that 100% may be 60, 70%, 80% of your superiors. So your 100% may be his 60, 70%. That doesn't matter. But what matters is look beyond the horizon. What is it in that tasking? What is it in that tasking which you can do more than what he has told you? And that is that 10%. And when you do your 100% and add this 10% to that, to this funder of your tasking, it doesn't have to be underhand, it doesn't have to be illegal. In that direction, when you do it, something which your boss hasn't even thought of, he will be standing up and saluting you with both hands the moment you finish it. And that is the time he starts respecting you. He respects you as a subordinate. And you gain those respects as time goes on. My friends, this 110% rule is a short mantra for success. Thereafter was that day until today, in every walk of life. I've had various roles to play after that. I have done this and I have succeeded. And whoever I've told and whoever have practiced it have also succeeded.
Wow,
So
that's great.
Remember this.
Great. That is, look into the eyes, understand the task. If you have not got it, ask again and try and understand and look beyond the horizon and do more than what is the task given to you. And that is the mantra of 110% from Journal NP Singh. Wow, that's great, sir. Please, let's go ahead.
So that was my middle level. After that, life unfolded. I commanded my regiment during a Parakram, and life went on as it goes on for anyone and everyone. Nothing extraordinary, no aspirations, sheer hard work. No higher command and none of those fancy courses which senior officers do. I have none of them to my credit. By the way, okay, you can take it as my disqualification, but my hard work was my qualification. So moved on as a colonel. I commanded my regiment for 3 years plus and went on beyond that. At the end of my tenure as a commanding officer in Khasa, I was picked up to do this interviewing officers course for the SSB. A horrible course to do. The world's most horrible course to do. Okay, for a soldier to do that course is to torture him to hell. I tried to wriggle out of it, couldn't. They said, no, it's by nomination. Okay, so I said, nomination? मेरे क्या nomination है? तो बड़ा simple सा बंदा. He said, नहीं, nomination है. Okay, so I went there sulking from my regiment. I fag end of my tenure just when I'm going to finish my command. You're throwing me out, but it had to happen. And my friends who are listening to me from 7 Cavalry understand what I'm trying to say. Especially the likes of General Chitanda, who was a great friend, who is a great friend and was a mentor as the colonel of the regiment then. So anyways, he said, NP, you have to go. So हुक्म के गुलाम चले गए, कोर्स किया, कोर्स के बाद I went to Allahabad, Selection Center East, Allahabad. Never wanted to get recommended to become a SSB officer. Why? Because I didn't want to get into people's lives and try to probe them. I found it boring and disgusting. Anyway, I had no choice. I got recommended. They said, "Abhi posting aayegi teri, president of some SSB or as interviewing officer." I said, "Oh hell, I'd rather go anywhere else but that." So That close I was successful, managed to get out. Okay. Went all over the place, left this SSB behind that I'll never going to get it, and moved on. Next landmark of life came about. You know, my life is just underlined by hard work. I was administrative commandant in Chandigarh, Chandi Mandir. By then, I had already earned 3 Chief's Commendation cards. Okay. And when you get a Chief's Commendation card, friends, for the civilian friends who are listening, it means that you must have been cited for something higher. But so got that.
Understood, sir. Said, not said.
Okay.
Please go ahead, sir. Haji.
Yeah. So I got 3 commendation cards. How it helped me? My board was to be held, but it did not get held. I was not bothered because I was not ambitious. Honestly, I was not ambitious. I said, Adam, come down, ban gaye, abhi to time to wind up. So I started building my house and doing all sorts of things to settle my life. And when the result came the first time, I was not paneled. I was not empaneled for my next rank as a brigadier. 10 days, wife and I felt very bad. I have a young daughter also, incidentally. So we felt bad. Obviously, we'll feel bad. Ki itni mehnat kari hai, par kuch hua nahi hai. So anyway, we said, okay, if the army doesn't want us, we don't want the army, Jai Hind to it, let's quit. I put in my papers. Friends, this is destiny. Muqaddar ka Sikandar. I put in my papers. And when I put in my papers, before that I had lost my dad, my idol in life. He said, Kaka, tu jarnail banega. And he said, you have not put in your complaint. These are the last words, honestly, in Command Hospital in Chandigarh, where he passed away. He says, you have not put in your papers. I said, Daddy, you become all right, I'll put them in. Anyway, he passed on. Just to keep his aspirations, I put in my papers, half-cocked sort of a thing, a complaint dal di. But saath hi saath, before that, I had also probed the channel of quitting the army. You won't believe it. I got both. I got my premature retirement. I have the papers with me. And few days later, I also got my promotion. Can you believe it? This is Muqaddar ka Sikandar. This is where God helps you. I quit the army and I got my promotion as a brigadier. No one believes it. I have papers to prove it. That was the landmark. Went on to command an RR sector, Rashtriya Rifle sector. By then it was my 3rd tenure in J&K. Rashtriya Rifle sector, Armored Corps officer, वो भी Adam commandant said, Rashtriya Rifles में brigadier साहब जा रहा है. So you can imagine the impact it was having at the other end. You know? तो ये क्या कमांड करेगा, एडम कमांडेंट है वहां पे, एंड अभी आ गया ब्रिगेडियर बन के यहाँ पे, वो भी आर्मर्ड कोर का संटी घुमाता हुआ. So I reached a place called Budhal in J&K. You won't believe it, guys. I commanded for 2 years. In the year 2010 and 11. And yours truly, this brigadier, killed. That means my team killed, not me personally. I did kill too, personally, 23 terrorists. 23 terrorists, which was the highest in the Northern Command, where Lieutenant General Jaswal Army commander, Northern Command. Now he stays 100 yards away from my house where I'm sitting. He was the Army commander, highest in Northern Command and highest in Eastern Command in those 2 years. Why was it? Because of those inborn childhood traits of sincerity of purpose, passionate focus, relentless and gallant perseverance, of challenging the obvious and rising above mediocrity. That got me those skills. That got me that shohrat. And that was my landmark as a brigadier. From there, life has been full of surprises. No patti, nothing, no connections. Simple soldier, just doing his work. Where was I posted next? Guess. As a brigadier from RR, I was posted into the SSB. So I was posted as President 11 SSB after 7 years. And they said course की बुनियाद होती है 3 साल. 3 साल में अगर आपको पकड़ लिया तो पकड़ लिया, नहीं तो काम खत्म हो जाता है. After 7 years, lightning struck on me and I had to get back to SSB. अच्छा, SSB, वहां बड़े हाथ पैर जोड़े कि मैं तो कुछ जानता ही नहीं हूं. I've forgotten about SSB. मेरा रिफ्रेशर तो करा दो, कुछ तो कराओ. मैं कैसे बच्चों को सिलेक्ट करूंगा? They say, no, you learn on the job. I said, okay, I'll learn on the job. Again, guys, just the habit of keeping my notes of every course which I've done, कि कहीं काम आएगा. My wife used to curse me. You know, you're carrying this trunk of this bloody notes everywhere, all over the place. ये क्या लेके घूमते रहते हो बस्ता अपना? And I opened my box and there it was, this धागे से बांधा हुआ, my bunch of notes, which I opened and I started studying. I am not boasting again. ये जो मैं बोल रहा हूं आपको, I did 2 years plus in such a great place called Selection Center East. And there, amongst the 5 brigadiers, all senior to me, I was the only one to be approved for my next rank. Okay. For no other reason. कोई एनडीसी उनडीसी का कोई ड्रामा नहीं किया, कोई हायर कमांड नहीं करी, कुछ नहीं करा. I'm telling you my story, na? So my story is this.
Hard work.
Bottom line. Before my board was to be held, if you'll understand, and if you understand that you have a set of coursemates going along with you as you rise. So I used to calculate, I said, yeah, there are 8 guys above me. And these 8 guys are all cat's whiskers, so to say. किसी ने हायर कमांड कर रखा है, किसी ने कुछ और कर रखा है, किसी ने फॉरेन. मैन तो कुछ भी नहीं करा. तो अगर ये 8 हो जाएंगे और 9वें का नंबर लगेगा, फिर मैं बन जाऊंगा जनरल, नहीं तो इल्ले इल्ले सापड़ इल्ले. Can you believe it? All 8 time fists. And it was me and another guy out of the 29 who started our journey in IMA who made it to the next rank as a general officer.
Wow. Great.
Somewhere down the line, I had this glimpse of this personality called Major KJ Singh. When my regiment used to be in Patiala, he was a BM. Camberley Staff College and all that. So I was totally oblivious to it कि यार ये तो English बोलने वाले लोग हैं, हम तो, you know. Though he was a major and I was a captain, but I never interacted with him. But I'd heard a lot about this great guy as a major also. So somewhere it's stuck in my mind that this person is a great persona and I must meet him sometime. So in this journey, guys, I took over as a general officer, went to Bhopal, commanded my sub-area, did whatever I had to do as my own job. And from there, I came as Chief of Staff in Ambala, in 2 Corps. And what do I find? The same Major KJ Singh, who I kept hearing of him in my journey, had of course risen and risen and risen and risen and risen many ranks, and come and sits on top of me as Lieutenant General KJ Singh, the great man, as Western Army Commander.
Yes. Wonderful soldier.
In 2 Corps, and he was the Western Army Commander. No personal contact. Now, the landmark which I tell you as an officer, as a general officer, what did I do? And what was, I feel, the basic bottom line, and how he spotted me, I don't know. One fine day, I get a DO from Lieutenant General KJ Singh, who's the Army Commander, directly to say, you are tasked to organize the centenary commemorations of 100 years of the Indian soldier in World War I. So, big thing. I had no clue. So I walked up to my to my co-commander. I said, sir, this is a DO which has come from the Army Commander. I'm sure you must have been told. He said, no, I haven't been told. It's come to you. You handle it. I said, how can I handle it myself? आप मेरे boss से ऊपर करना क्या है? He said, no, you handle it or you ask him. So again, 110% rule came into play. He would be listening to me, I'm sure, today and having a smile on his face. So he took 1 or 2 presentations. One presentation he took of mine, he came to Ambala visiting the RT division, and he called me there that, what have you thought about it? So I showed him 2 slides. That's all I could gather about World War I. 2 slides. What all 11 campaigns in World War I and how they went about it. That was a broad thing. I said, sir, but I can do it. It's a challenge. It was October and it was to be done in March. And a huge event, because Prime Minister Modi that time had just become the Prime Minister, and he was very keen to showcase this event. Long and short of it was that this challenge I took up, the challenge which I took up was a challenge which someone else was given and had failed in it. And then it was passed on to me, which I later on got to know. So मैं अपना teen tabda उठा के from Ambala, I moved to Delhi and camped and roughed it out there, but I produced the results. Why? Because of this 110% rule and the sincerity of purpose to perform. Come what may, don't let your senior down. Don't let your person down. And that event, which was a 6-day event, friends, a world event, and kind courtesy, the AG and the Chief of Army Staff, and of course, the Army Commander, I was sent abroad on a 4-day visit to get some ideas from the Imperial War Museum in UK. I went, I pinched a few ideas, said sorry to them when I was clicking photographs, pretended to not know. I took photographs and came back and implemented those ideas. That 6-day event, guys, after Prime Minister Modi and the President and all the people, all the bigwigs, was extended to a 21-day event. All right, in the Manekshaw Auditorium. Why? Because Prime Minister Modi wanted all the member of parliaments to go down to Manekshaw Auditorium in Delhi to see this event, which had been showcased by the Indian Army. And that's what it was done. So this was another landmark which I feel proud of, that such a small nachis.
Wonderful.
Anyone who you feel, anyone who thinks he can actually achieve it.
Wow.
By shiddat.
Hard work.
Passionate focus.
Yes. Hard work, dedication, passion, 110%.
Everything, guys.
Yes. Yes.
So, Dr. Gulshan, that was it. But he didn't leave me at that. He didn't leave me at that. I got the laurels for that, and so did he, and so did my co-commander also got. He didn't leave me at that. This selection center North, SSB na tera picha na chodungi. It is like that. So Allahabad se picha chodaya. Yahan general ban ke bhi. General KJ Singh, I'm making a direct reference to him because he's been a part of my journey amongst so many others. And it's with great respect.
He's a part of many people's journey, sir. He's a great soldier, great soldier.
And a great motivator.
Yes, yes.
So this army commander, this general, he tells me, he says, NP, I want you to go to Selection Center North Kapurthala and raise it. And this was just 10 months before he and I both retired. Okay. It may have been a challenge for him, I don't know. But it was definitely a challenge for me, a huge challenge. The biggest challenge of my life. Professional challenge. He says, go and raise it. I said, raise it? He says, हाँ वो बंदे पहुंच गए वहां पे जाके कर लो. You will get your posting, go and do it. So easily said. So he knew, probably he had the confidence, or probably he had the insight to make out ke ye banda kar lega. And to cut a long story short, I did him proud by laying the agenda with my colleagues over there. I'm known to be hell of a danda master because sincerity of purpose is my. And I somehow was, and still I don't like shammers. So I would take off on people who would not work. And I had laid down an agenda that I have 10 months. I'm not going to spoil my 10 months doing this thing. I must do it fast as possible. It was October. I told my friends over there, the 15, 20 officers who were gathered there, and we were all, I said, look, we have 5 months. In 5 months, we must declare this selection center raised, operationally raised. So to say, it should get functional and start selecting people. With that aim we set about, it had to be a huge push. I got all his support. Apart from other things, I got his support. The galis also. That's all right. It's a part of the package. I got that. And in 5 months, this selection center stood raised with me as the founder-commandant of that selection center. It was my team and myself.
Heartiest congratulations.
To get
Heartiest congratulations to the entire team. Wonderful,
yes.
Sir.
But there again, like Dr. Gulshan, we spoke about 100 guys from the Northeast. I said, now in these 5 months which are balanced, now that the center has become operational, let us set a new record, a new high, and compare ourselves with the other 3 selection centers. Selection Center Central, Bhopal, Selection Center South, Bangalore, and Selection Center East, Allahabad. I said, against them, they are established centers. We, as a team of Selection Center North, in these 5 months, must try to select or recommend at least 100 candidates and tell the Indian Army that we have saved this 5 months for you for no reason other than pushing in 100 more people into the academy, which would have otherwise not gone.
Wow.
Okay. Which would have otherwise, if we had gone at our own pace and done it in 10 months, then these 100 people would have not gone. So we gave this 107 people a push to get into the academies and go ahead with it.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So that was my ultimate landmark, my ultimate challenge, which I was able to achieve. And I think General K.J. Singh retired a month before me, and I'm sure on this score at least, he must have been very, very satisfied.
5 months
and that was my parting gift to him.
Yeah, 5 months setting up SSB and 5 months, 107 people joining the armed forces. Wow.
Yes.
Commendable, sir. Heartiest congratulations. Wonderful.
It was the team effort which went through.
Wonderful.
Guys, if you give me some more time, Dr. Grover.
Please take your time, sir. Take your time.
I just like to flow on because now I'm going to come to the culminating point of what will actually inspire the children of our country. I retired in 2016 from Selection Center North as a very satisfied man, content with all that God and man has given me in my profession. But since I had been in this line of selection, I had learned the ropes of how to actually guide and mentor aspirants to join the armed forces without cheating them, without misguiding them. I could have easily opened a large-scale academy. I could have easily done anything possible and made plenty of money, but that is not the agenda. The agenda was to give back what this great country and this great armed forces had given me or taught me through the values which my parents had given me. So I set about thinking as to how to do it. Knowing myself, I knew if I get another person left and right of me to form a team at this late stage, it won't work. And since I knew everything about psychology, about the GTOs, and about the interviewing process, I said, let me do it myself and let me do it my way without cheating anyone as an act of social service. So for a short while, I joined a university as registrar of colleges. They had 8, 9 colleges in that at Badi. It's Badi University. I did a registrar's tenure over there, but didn't find it satisfying because my agenda was to set up something in that university where the kids would benefit. It didn't work. I quit for other reasons. And then caught the eye of an organization called Unacademy in Bangalore. Now this Unacademy is an organization which was a startup. It started by an IAS officer about 6-7 years back. They called me over and they took me on as an educator. And they said, sir, you have so much of experience and you can do it. So I got down to working with them. But it was an online platform and it was not interactive in the sense, I don't want to show them down, but it was not interactive and I could not be one-on-one with the candidates. They were extremely happy with me, and out of the 430 odd people who were educators there, within about 4 to 5 months, I got to number 11. Anyway, that's a separate story altogether. But since it was not satisfying, it was not suiting my style in the sense of giving back to society what I had learned, I quit that place and set up my own organization called Shaurya Yodhas, because I like this name. It invigorates a person, Shaurya Yodhas.
Okay.
And in this past journey of about 2.5 to 3 years prior to the pandemic until date, it's been a wonderful, successful journey for the kids who join me.
Wonderful, sir. We wish to know a little more about Shaurya, this Yodha. Where is it? What all it comprises of? What all takes place over there? Will you be kind enough to give us a little bit more insight, sir?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Thank you, sir.
Please.
This Shaurya Yodhas Institute is an institute just where I'm sitting. By God's grace, I have a huge home. And on one of the floors, I am doing this. I have my all gadgetry along with me, and I only do it online. But in online, I only take a batch of 15 guys, only 15 guys. And why do I take only that? Is because I feel that that is the only optimum figure which I can really give them the actual gyan which they require. So I start in the Shaurya Yodhas, a 32 days course in one batch. And in that batch, prior to coming to SSB, how they should tune themselves at the SSB on reporting what is the documentation and which is the document which the assessors are actually homing on to. Because your selection process actually starts from there, from that form called a personal information questionnaire, which is actually your Janam Patri. It gives out your whole life story in that. So how to fill that up is a skill in itself. And then, of course, the various stages of stage one, the whys and the nuances of why 500 people report to the SSB and only 40 of them are able to cross that into stage two. Why it happens, the reason why, I tell them. And then I go through each test. For example, the psychology test is 4 tests. I don't move forward unless each aspirant, one by one, one-on-one, gets clear on what exactly he has to do in that test. And I get a feedback from them because I'm seeing them face to face, just like I'm seeing Dr. Gulshan. Same way I'm seeing 15 of them. Tell them the flaws, so their strong points and their weaknesses. So total SWOT analysis is done of each person, whether he be a repeater or otherwise.
Couple of questions we'll keep taking, sir. Is it open to both boys and girls, sir?
Yes, it is open to both. It is open to boys and girls.
Okay, sir. How many hours per day, sir, for 32 days?
Just about 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours, right?
I schedule it for 2 hours, but it carries on to 3 and 3.5 hours because of the question answer session, which many of the aspirants rightfully have. You know, so I have time with me. There's no problem.
Wonderful, sir.
I start at 9:30 and wind up by 11:30, but sometimes it takes me up to 1 also. So any person who wants to go beyond 11:30 and wants to keep asking me, I have everything available with me. I give them practices, give them tests under timed conditions, just like the SSB.
Understood, sir. Understood, sir.
So that 5 days procedure is stretched to 32 days.
Okay.
Like the interview procedure, the interview package, I do it over 7 days, which otherwise an interview takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes max. It goes on to 7 days. So the tutorials are going on, the Q&As are going on and everything, and it's girls and boys together.
Okay, all the people, those are posting on the WhatsApp to me over here on the YouTube and otherwise, I wish to share with you. Major General N.P. Singh ji is a very humble soldier. He is a very simple soldier. He is not from the marketing angle. He is not understanding. That's why he has not come prepared with the PPT. But people, those are asking the questions. I will take the complete details from him. In my tomorrow's program, you will see his academy address, his contact number, his email ID, and other details what you are asking me. People are asking me, sir, these questions on the WhatsApp. So what I'll do, I'll take those details from you, and I would like to cover tomorrow evening 8 p.m. when I have my program. I will cover your slides so that people can see. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Sharma, you know, the queries which are coming to you are because I do not advertise. I do not advertise. And one thing through your medium I want to tell everyone is that whenever an aspirant comes to me, with my experience, I can make out that he's been to A Academy, B Academy, C Academy, D Academy, and wasted his parents' money over there. You know, and that's very tragic. So I detox them in that aspect first, convince them, firstly qualitatively, and then quantitatively. How qualitatively? Just to give you an example, 15 days is the time which any offline academy, I can name them, but I won't. 15 days, 15 days is the optimum time which any offline academy, whether it be Delhi, Nagpur, Chandigarh, all those fancy names. I am very blunt. I've been blunt all my life. It doesn't matter to me. All these fancy names, 15 days, 20,000 per candidate, and 60 candidates, 60. Firstly, qualitatively, I can challenge anyone in this universe. If he can guide a guy to become an officer in 15 days, he can't.
You have done tenures. You have done the tenure, sir. You understand the service selection board so well because we have understood the entire story which you have given and the complete run because you're talking practical. You're talking practical.
And then I try to tell them, without taking too much of your time, I try to tell them, friends, 20,000 which you or your parents have paid, multiply by 60, works out to 12 lakh per batch in 15 days for that academy. And they run 4 batches. So that is 60 lakh per month, which that offline academy is teaching, is earning. And all they're doing is they're making a Charlie out of the children and their parents.
Understood, sir. Completely understood.
Now,
very.
Secondly, my maid, my sweeper, my mali, the man on the street, the car driver, Dr. Gulshan, myself, my father, my mother, everyone, all have 15 human qualities. All of them. सबके पास हैं. नौकरानी के पास भी हैं, बीवी के पास भी हैं, आपके बच्चे के पास भी है, आपकी माँ के पास भी है, खुद के पास भी है. These 15 human qualities which the SSB is getting at, the assessor wants, is these qualities and what shades you display in them. And that's what they call officer-like qualities. Because you are the raw material getting into the SSB. You're not an officer getting into the SSB. You're just a raw material जिसको ठोक ठाक के एकेडमी में सीधा करके फिर अफसर बनते हैं. So guys, don't worry. You don't have to worry. Just be your natural self. And what only I teach you, sir, is that how to display those 15 qualities. क्योंकि why? जो दिखता है वो बिकता है ना, है ना? जो दिखाओगे नहीं तो कैसे बिक? अगर डव सोप को आप अखबार के कागज में लपेट के बेचना चाहो तो बिकेगा नहीं, है? फिर उसके ऊपर ब्राउन पेपर पे लिख दो डव, फिर भी नहीं बिकेगा. मगर उसके ऊपर चिकना कागज लगा दो, अच्छी सी कोई परी की फोटो लगा दो, 2-4 फूल लगा दो, फिर देखो कैसे बिकता है. यही कहानी एसएसबी की है. सो जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. That's my first funda which I tell these guys.
Wonderful.
And the second, guys, I tell them is, the question I ask them, Dr. Grover, is कि मछली कब फंसती है? So someone will say something, someone will say something. I said मछली तब फंसती है जब ज्यादा मुंह खोलती है. So ज्यादा मुंह नहीं खोलना. जो क्वेश्चन पूछता है बंदा, उसका जवाब दो, बहुत है. So these are few mantras which I tell them.
Yes.
And that's how I detox these guys. And that's my claim to fame. And that is why I got 26 out of 41 candidates recommended as officers in the Indian Army.
Wow.
And the Air Force, girls and boys.
Great, sir. Great, great.
Another thing, I can flow on. You know, there are 23 ways in which you can become an officer in the Indian Armed Forces. 23 ways. And you can become an officer in the Indian Armed Forces till 42 years of age. So, gum kya hai? Another thing, there are 9 ways so far. 10th one will, of course, be the NDA. 9 ways so far in which a girl can become an officer in the Indian Armed Forces. I'm not talking about Indian Coast Guards. I'm not talking about CAPF. That's separate. But see the opportunities. And this armed forces gives you so much. And in lighter vein, I tell them, girls, if you can't become an officer in the armed forces, then please become an officer's wife in the armed forces.
Lovely. That's lovely, sir.
Because that is the motivation and the inspiration.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I said, this is the only place in the world. I hope the politicians are not listening. This is the only place in the world where they even pay you for your own cremation.
Yes.
अपनी लकड़ी के लिए भी वो आपको पैसा देते हैं.
बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं सर, ठीक कह रहे हैं सर.
So it's a fabulous thing. You just have to be your natural self. You don't have to be anything extraordinary to become an officer. If you show yourself, your true self, and you catch the fancy of the assessor, which I teach them how to. There is a certain aspect of impression management. I run tutorials on that. I make them practice that. I make them do a SWOT analysis. And the bottom line, Dr. Gulshan, is that everything has to be timed. How to write 60 sentences from 60 words in 30 minutes. Oh no, 15 minutes. That translates to only 15 seconds to write a sentence from a word. And it has to be positive.
Yes.
And each one is catching a quality in that.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
So you have to be trained for it. And that cannot happen in 15 days in these.
Totally acceptable, sir. Totally acceptable. totally transparent and totally convincing.
Yes.
I've got few things, sir, before we close the session today. We have taken about 16 minutes extra, but I wish to share few things with you. Number one, we would require some more inputs and some more information from your side about Shaurya Yodha, and that we would like to share with the universe people. Those are asking the question. That is one option. Second option is that maybe we run one program. Today we have taken your life journey. Let's have one more program next Monday where we cover your academy so that people should understand. And you have given so much of spark. I've got about 41, WhatsApp right now. Which are the 9 ways so far the girls can become officers? there are, what I'm telling, sir, we require one more Monday with you. Now, choice is yours. I wish to share with you because what I'm telling, sir, my team will work with you. You are a very simple, decent, honest, dignified soldier who has not done the marketing part of it, sir. And yes, I have understood, sir. I have understood. So what I would make a request to you, sir, that to give the proper information, desirable information, quantity with the quality, we need one more session exclusively on Shaurya Yodha. You have also left a spark with the people. 23 ways you can become officer till the age of 42.
Yes.
So that also people are asking me, what exactly is that? People do let us know. And that all something is. So I personally make a personal request to you, two things. Number one, sir, next Monday, because let's not have a break in between, because this program is once a week. So next Monday, we come with you. My team will do the preparation of the PPT with you. We will prepare the PPT with you, sir. We will run the PPT and you will do the talking part and explanation part. Let people understand and know you. And I would look forward to that day. I've got a one request. People have joined me from Tanga Valley. Now, when you mention about it, they are watching this program. People have joined me from Kanobari. People have joined me from Zero. People have joined me from Alo and Basar. People have joined me from Longding. People have joined me from Shillong. There are so many places. I've got a request and a commitment from you. Next Monday, I will take a pledge from you.
Surely.
Both of us, we should work in the direction. The dream which I have got, sir, I personally feel my rank, my salary, my uniform, my first star, I wore that in the northeast part of India. I owe a lot to that particular region. I would make a humble request to you. Both of us, we should work in that direction. Let 100 young boys and girls from the 8 states of the northeast India should become officer in the armed forces.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I would like to make a request to you on that, sir.
Surely, definitely. It's a commitment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We will work in that direction.
I must tell you something.
Sir.
When I spent time in Selection Center East in Allahabad, the first critical comment I had that this is no way East. Allahabad is not East. So why the dickens are you calling it Selection Center East? Okay. So someone, my senior, one Jalsa from the Corps of Signals, he says, अरे यार ये तो हमने सोचा ही नहीं. मैं कहा सर इलाहाबाद कहाँ से ईस्ट हो गया? So we had a chat with someone that we took up a case that let Selection Center East be somewhere in Guwahati.
Wow.
Just in the right scheme of things, that let the people from the East also benefit this.
Wonderful, sir. We can take it up immediately with the Raksha Mantri. We can also take it up with the Hemanta Biswa Sharma. And if you are ready, sir, we will travel together because he had been the chief guest on a couple of my programs in Guwahati. We can work it out. We can plan it out. Thank you, sir.
Another thing, I'll just cut you short. Just another thing.
Sir,
just for the benefit of the children who are very inquisitive about 23 years.
675 people from the world over are watching you on this program, sir.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sir.
the world, because you mean the world to me.
Sir,
I just want to tell you one thing. No one has asked me the question that which is the simplest way to become an officer.
next week, sir.
I tell them that now.
Okay, sir.
The simplest way to become an officer is to become a Jawan first.
Ah, okay, okay. Great, great, wonderful, wonderful. Join the armed
next time.
Yes, join the armed forces, get inside the uniform, and from there you move up the ladder. That is the way. Wow, that's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are watching this particular program from different parts of the world, and particularly lot of youth. Mithali Gohin, you joined us from Dibrugarh. Thank you very much. Immediately when we mentioned about Northeast, you made a mention. Roshni Biham joining us from Kanobari, and Habung Asha is joining us from Zero, and Julie Subba is joining us from Manipur, and then people are joining us from Shillong. Mamta is joining from Uttarakhand. Sakshi is joining from Dehradun, and some Nikhil Habu, and mention about you that General NP Singh ji is amazing. He's just the best. Somebody has written about you, sir. I think maybe somebody who's known to you. Tarak Wadhera ji, thank you. And all other dignitaries, those have posted the comments over here. Next week, because my inspiration is any child, irrespective what your parents are, you might belong to, because, General NP Singh mentioned driver, gardener, your Khansama, your other people, a lot of people he has made a mention. Those are helping hands. Those make your, the organization run. Those children also have aspirations. And he also talked something about Dove soup. When he was talking about that time I was remembering and I was thinking, that Dove soap ad is also seen by the village girl who is in the farthest, remotest, and the last picket of the country. She also has the same aspiration which any urban girl sitting in the metro has got. Why not the inspiration of everybody to be met the best possible way? Ladies and gentlemen, on my personal request, General NP Singh will come next week also with us. And we are going to share with you Shaurya Yodha. We will talk about the 15 human qualities. We will talk about the officer-like qualities. We'll talk about 23 ways how you can become the officer till the age of 42. We will also talk about 9 different ways by which the girls can join armed forces. I think it was a very scintillating and a very, very captivating and such an inspirational evening. I wish to send this video today's to Honorable Prime Minister's office. I would like to send this program over there, and we make a moral commitment. Both of us, we are soldiers, and something very interesting. I was laughing and laughing. I was born in Army Hospital, Delhi, Kent. So my father, my grandfather also from the armed forces. So I was just thinking, and when he mentioned about Allahabad, I was selected from 36 service selection board, Allahabad. So that also, I was recollecting and repackaging, and it's an eye-opening. Many people, including me, I didn't know there is a service selection board in Kapurthala. I didn't know about it. Today, for the first time, I have learned from you. There's a long way to go. There's so much to learn. And thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure to have you today with us. Look forward meeting you next Monday at 8 p.m. And we will come with the presentation as requested by the participants. Surely. We will have a proper slides for all of you so that you understand nitty-gritties. And advantage of the PowerPoint presentation is because this program is live on the YouTube and we cannot edit. Whatever we have spoken from the heart as a soldier.
True.
And Northeast India, we have made a commitment to you, 100 young boys and girls getting commissioned into the armed forces from that particular region, 8 beautiful states. That's the dream we are living with, both the soldiers. Our salutation, our gratitude, and our thanks to General NP Singh, sir, And of course, very special thanks to Lieutenant General KJ Singh sir, who gave the name of General NP Singh sir that he should be invited and he should come for the program. I'm grateful to you, sir. Thank you very much. And a lot of memories, they got fresh. And on the Vijay Super Scooter, I used to come from Babina to Jhansi, enjoy on the weekdays and weekends. Something very interesting. Thank you.